Memorial Day. So let's give it up for him.
I also wrote a Camp Constitution.
That's fine.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know I was first up to bat here. So, all right, the good thing about Camp Constitution is, I was just saying to Barbara, we never have these little chit-chat friendly conversations. They're always pretty weighty, and you never ever have to ask anybody, how do you really feel about that? So,
True.
here's my speech about today, and I'm bringing it up to date a little bit. Memorial Day, a day of honor. On Memorial Day, America honors her war dead.
Yes.
Webster defines honor as 1. A keen sense of ethical conduct or integrity. 2. A man's word given as a guarantee of performance. And 3. The verb, to give special recognition or respect, as we are doing today. The last line of the Declaration of Independence states, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. What people don't realize is, of the three, the latter was the most important to the founders, by far. Many of them would indeed lose their fortunes, some would lose their lives in the war for American independence. But their honor did not die with them. It lives on in the memory and teaching of their deeds, and in the fruits of their labors, the Declaration of Independence and our wonderful Constitution. They are imbued with all of that honor. They had the various highest ethics and integrity. They did what they said they were going to do. They were men of principle who argued their ideas, yet treated each other with respect. Their word was their bond, and because of them, and many of the soldiers who shared their code of honor, we have this wonderful experiment in freedom called America. Before there was an official Memorial Day, Americans still honored, mourned, and remembered their war dead, and decorated their graves, often on Independence Day. For example, here in Lexington, the oldest war memorial in the country, which is also a hallowed mass war grave, filled with the bodies of the patriots who died on April 19th, 1775. Eric and I stopped by to pay respects on the way over here. I always get a little shaken up by that. It stands on the historic battle green. If you guys didn't visit, it's a great place to visit today. There's a lot of patriots up there right now. And that was inaugurated July 4th, 1799, during the presidential term of the Honorable John Adams. Camp Constitution has visited and paid honor to that memorial several times. Okay. Now, Memorial Day history. The American Civil War had at least a dozen battles, like the one at Gettysburg, where there were more casualties, I know this is hard to believe, in one single battle than in all of the combined battles of the American Revolution. It's true. In fact, only recently have the combined casualties of all of America's other wars, including Revolutionary War, 1812, Mexican War, Spanish War, World Wars I and II, Korea, Vietnam, First and Second Gulf War, and Afghanistan, finally eclipsed all of the casualties of the American Civil War. Yet at the time of the Civil War, America had only about 1/10 the population it has now. So really, if you put it in scale, you'd have to imagine a war today where we had 7.5 million deaths, which is equivalent to the total populations, every man, woman, and child in the states of Massachusetts and Vermont combined. If all those people died, that would be the Civil War today. So when Lincoln spoke on the special day of memorial, dedicating a new burial ground at Gettysburg, he said, and we have the same feeling today, hopefully, in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they fought here thus far have so nobly advanced. It's rather for us to be dedicated to the great task remaining, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion for that cause for which they gave the last full measure of their devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. I couldn't do anything any better than plagiarizing Abraham Lincoln, but I'm not really, because I'm quoting him. All right. So, it was a war to keep our union together, and a war ultimately to free Americans held in slavery.
Yes.
And in the end, both were done, praise God, at great cost. Okay. So when the racist group known as Black Lives Matter lies to America about who we are at our core, we should remember just how many white men died in that war that black men could be free.
That's right.
Also,
Absolutely.
a great many free black men, I had some of their descendants on my podcast, The Midnight Ride, also fought and died in that war, and they are remembered in the beautiful Shaw Memorial in front of the Massachusetts State House. That memorial was vandalized last year by Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
That's how much they
That's
care
how much
about
they respect
black history.
Black lives.
That's right. That's who they are.
That's right.
Okay, black people, this is for you. In the past year, BLM protesters have murdered 2 African Americans in Seattle's Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, including a child, a black policeman in St. Louis, in Oakland. They often call for the death of police. BLM protesters murdered an 8-year-old black girl in Atlanta and a black man. A 1-year-old black toddler was murdered while sitting in a stroller in the BLM violence. A journalist was murdered by Black Lives Matter in a protest in St. Louis, and the list goes on. I don't have enough time to list them all. So on this Memorial Day, I remember those murdered by the mostly white, Marxist, fifth column, George Soros terrorist organization misnamed Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely. You're right.
Am I telling you how I really feel?
No.
And I pray from the statistics I mentioned earlier, they are not able to start another full-blown civil war in America. It would be so awful it's unimaginable, but they're trying to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Memorial Day. A few years after the Civil War, on May 5th, 1868, General John Logan, commander of the Grand Army of the Republic, a Union's veteran group, issued a proclamation calling for an annual Decoration Day. That's what they called it then. For Union dead, the southern states began having days to remember Confederate dead to honor the lost cause. Now, I happen to grow up down south. I know some other people did. I'm going to honor some people today that have been totally forgotten by history because they didn't fit the narrative then, they don't fit it now. Who was not honored were the vast legions of Southern white soldiers who fought for the Union to keep our country whole and to end slavery. This isn't known very much. At the opening of the Civil War, fully half the Americans living in the southern states didn't want to secede. There was outside forces, just like today, kind of pushing us to that awful conflict. So a lot of those white men were men of great honor. They did not want our country broken up because when they fought, even if they won, they lost in personal terms. The greatest example of the above was Union General George Thomas of Virginia. George Thomas grew up in Virginia, and he was spared. His family was in the zone of Nat Turner's revolt, but his family was known to be a righteous family, so they weren't slaughtered in Nat Turner's revolt. And boy, he paid them back later on, I'm going to tell you. So George Thomas of Virginia, who employed many brave black soldiers in his ranks, unlike Robert E. Lee, right, to win battle after battle, yet he was permanently ostracized by his own family for taking a stand for our nation, our Constitution, for which he had taken an oath at West Point. General Thomas was a man of honor, and he declared, uppermost in my mind was that I took that oath to my country and my Constitution. And boy, his family didn't forgive him. Robert E. Lee took the same oath to defend America and her Constitution at least 3 times in his career, but failed to keep his oath. Lee is still beloved and remembered in much of the South to this day, whereas Thomas, a better patriot and a better general who never lost a single battle, is largely forgotten. The same holds true for all those legions of Southern men, 1 out of every 9 of them, who fought and stayed loyal to our Union, to this wonderful country called America, which they helped to keep together, make better, and more free. That's right. Okay, so this historian is trying to right a little wrong today. Every Memorial Day, I always say a prayer of thanks for them because they have been forgotten by history. They don't fit anybody's narrative, not then or now. Nobody but nobody remembers them. Anyway, there were separate Decoration Days in North and South. I'm almost done. Up until the end of World War II, when Decoration Day became known as Memorial Day. It was celebrated every year on May 30th. I know that Reverend Kraft, he just said May 30th. We noticed that. Today's the 31st. It always used to be held on the 30th, no matter what day that was on, and that was a good thing because you would always celebrate it. The danger of that, when it was moved to the last Monday in May, it gave a 3-day weekend to federal employees, and it was not without controversy. The danger was that it would just become another 3-day holiday instead of a day to really honor our war dead. As if to confirm those fears, Kamala Harris tweeted out on Friday, everybody have a nice long weekend. Yeah.
Where's the cackle?
Kamala, is that all? I ask you, America, is Kamala Harris a woman of honor?
No.
Okay, let's get to her boss, Joe Biden. When giving a Memorial Day speech over the weekend, made a very off-color remark at a 19-year-old young woman in the
Yep,
audience.
yep.
We're a Christian camp. I can't repeat it. Sorry. Worse than that, a recent Biden State Department cable gives chiefs of missions who head U.S. embassies and consulates around the world blanket written authorization to display BLM flags and banners as appropriate, quote, it's appropriate in light of local conditions. It stresses that the directive is an authorization, not a requirement. Oh! So Biden is suggesting that that disgusting, Marxist, racist BLM flag be flown in place of honor next to an American flag over our embassies. Is he a man of honor?
No.
Are he and Kamala even worthy of our nation's highest
They're
elected
frauds.
office?
They're
And were
frauds.
they even elected?
No.
Right.
On this day of days, I pray that our country may find the true answer to that question and find it soon. Too many honorable people died for that flag and our nation to have imposters in the White House. When an honorable man, a true man of the people, was put out in an electoral coup d'etat in the middle of the night, a man who did all he could for our veterans in the hospitals, active duty service members, and always honored our war dead. Which brings me to a little known Memorial Day flag tradition. I didn't know this until today myself. On the morning of Memorial Day, the stars and stripes are raised briskly, then lowered to half-staff to honor the more than 1 million men and women who have died defending our country. At noon, the flag is again raised full staff to signify that living Americans are resolute in not allowing the sacrifices of our war dead to have been in vain, and that we the people, the living patriots of this country, will always continue to rise up in their stead and continue their fight for the cause of liberty and justice, the things that we teach every summer at campconstitution.net. Yes. With that, on behalf of Camp Constitution, I would like to wish all Americans a very somber, reflective, it's not supposed to be happy, folks.
That's right. Amen. No.
And thoughtful Memorial Day, and pray that God protect, bless, and guide the men and women now serving in our armed forces, as well as those who lead them. I also say a prayer of thanks for all those who fought and died for this wonderful land.
Amen.
In Jesus' sacred name, amen. Would you like me to sing the song now? Or?
Yeah, you can sing it now, brother.
All right.
All right, Tommy.
All righty. One last wit.
This is your copywritten song, right?
It's not. It's brand new, and it's kind of rough, like everything else about me. So
That was
rough around the edges.
Rubber on the edge.
That's how I roll.
That's okay. That's okay, Trico.
Okay.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It really was. It
Yeah.
really was very
Yeah.
thoughtful.
I need a copy of that.
I'm a guitarist. Where's my pick? Every guy has their girl, but guitarists have their pick. Where's my pick?
Sure he's that before.
Oh.
Only he would call for that.
I have a little humor here. Oh my goodness. I guess I'm gonna pick with the credit card.
Oh!
Okay.
It
So.
serves some good purpose after all, huh?
Yes. Happy bills.
Wow.
Take a look around America from sea to shining sea. To ask where are we going in this land here of the free? Who were we then? Who are we now? What is our true identity? It's all spelled out in a founding document that we really need to keep. CampConstitution.net. It's a place you won't forget, where a young man and young lady become patriots and patriots. We know the difference. CampConstitution.net. We always tell the truth, you bet. So if the climate should change, don't forget your umbrella, man, so you won't get wet. CapConstitution.net. We don't give up, we never quit. When it comes to God and country, we take a stand, we do not sit. CapConstitution.net.
I like it.
Does the truth make you upset? Of where America is going if we do nothing about it? I'm going to call out something, and you're going to say, "We say huzzah."
Yeah.
To e pluribus unum.
Huzzah!
We say huzzah.
Huzzah!
To we the people strong and one. We say huzzah.
Huzzah!
A new birth of freedom. We say huzzah.
Huzzah!
Christ, God's only Son. We say huzzah.
Huzzah.
We the people, you and me. We say huzzah.
Huzzah.
This land here of the free. We say huzzah. To our flag, the stripes and stars.
Huzzah.
Constitution, which is ours. Say huzzah.
Huzzah.
I'll try that once more time. Ready? We say huzzah. 2, 3, to e pluribus unum.
We say huzzah.
People strong and one.
We say huzzah.
A new birth of freedom.
We say huzzah.
Jesus Christ, God's only Son.
We say huzzah.
We the people, you and me.
We say huzzah.
To this land here of the free.
We say huzzah.
To our flag, the stripes and stars.
We say huzzah.
Constitution, which is ours.
We say huzzah.
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 All right.
Amen.
Woo!